Hey guys, Tomboy601, and today we have the Roma on Shatter. Now, if you weren't aware, Roma did receive a bit of a buff during this past update. Also, I apologize. I think you probably just heard some thunder. It's storming. It's Florida during the summer. It storms here. Anyways, Roma received a bit of a buff this update, so I figured time to go test her out. You know, they buffed the earnings of tier 7 premiums. Roma's a tier 7 premium. Let's go try her out. So first, let's go ahead and talk about what is new with the ship. First off, like her tech tree counterpart, the Vittorio Veneto, she received the smoke screen, which is excellent because she absolutely needed it. Then the HE damage on her was increased from 51,000 to 5,800. The damage control party was increased from 10 to 15 seconds. The repair parties were boosted from 3 to 4. And that's kind of what she did. So what did they do to her? Well, they kind of just brought her up to Vittorio Veneto standards, and she needed it. Also, that guy needed those 2 citadels. Oh boy. With shots like that, you may be asking yourself, Tommy, what commander are you running? And well, with shots like that, it can only be a Zerlane Littorio. I know. We're running Scharnhorst and Cunningham as the 2 inspirations, and I know, accuracy commander on the Italian battleships, but you know, I think this is one of the few ones that I will continue to run it on, just because, well, Roma is her and Vittorio Veneto are very similar ships now, like extremely similar ships. And in order to differentiate them, I'm using the commanders, because if you're not aware, what really separates them now is, you know, a couple of little stats here and there, and Vittorio gets SAP secondaries, and Roma keeps standard secondaries, and, well, standard secondaries are not as good as the SAP secondary. So the way you want to play Roma is a bit more at range, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Roma, still a fairly quick battleship, even when you do run a full sort of accuracy build and you take those movement penalties. She's still rather maneuverable and rather quick for a battleship, and that's exactly why I'm enjoying going out to this flank. We're lucky enough that there's no really battleships we need to worry, and even if there are battleships, we now have access to that smoke consumable, which will allow us to kind of dart between these islands, get in positions to get to the broadsides of ships. We can see Kutuzov is slowing down to sit in his smoke, and we are just waiting on our reload. We kind of know where he was. We get spotted by Key, and sadly we lose it, but Baltimore is backing up. Like, we have targets of opportunity here, and that's what Roma is now able to do, is get into those positions to take shots at those targets of opportunity. Just a little tall on those shots towards the Baltimore, where Baltimore would be really hurting at this point. But anyways, we're going to continue our way around the corner. We know there's Kutuzov sitting in his smoke out front. We know probably when that smoke dissipates in a minute or so, he will be sitting broadside, so we'll be ready for that. Of course, we do have to kind of keep an eye on this carrier because he's keeping us spotted, and Kutuzov is kind of raining down fire to remind us that he is there. We already took a good chunk of Suzuya, and if he decides to come on back, we'll happily throw some lead his direction. As far as the buff goes for Roma, I think it works fairly well. It's doing a fairly good job. It's not the greatest tier 7 battleship anymore, but it does. The love is there, and it needed the love, and I'm happy that it's there. And it now has a very nice niche, especially when you equip an accuracy commander. Now, I know Zerlane's the premium commander. Oh, here we go. Kutuzov out in the smoke. Let's see if we can go ahead and remind him why he shouldn't have just sat in that smoke the whole time. Yes, there we go. But good news. Wargaming did confirm that there will be a free accuracy commander at some point for the Italian battleships. Not that I would really recommend using them. They aren't, like I said. I think the only ones I'm using Littorio on right now are Roma and Giulio Cesare. And I should probably switch Giulio Cesare back. I was just like debating on that one, but really it's only Roma. Just the brawler builds are just the better way to play those ships. They want to be played like that, and you should be playing them like that. So there's no need to rush out and buy a Zerlane Littorio, because legitimately, Roma, I think, is the only ship that you'll want. Kutuzov, we go ahead, stagger our fire. That way, is as he maneuvers, we have a better chance of hitting him because we're switching up the aim point. We take him down for our first kill. We're at 60,000 damage, and we have this very nice opportunity as we've been slowly making our way around the map to help encircle. And this is what Roma does really well. This kind of island hop, point to point, find the broadsides, find places that you can get into. If you get caught out, you can use the smoke to maneuver. This is where Roma is happy, especially now that we have that accuracy boosted thanks to the commander. We can make these medium range shots. The medium range is nice for us because with the concealment mod, our sighting is down to 13.1. Our detectability by sea is down to 13.1, and literally our smoke firing penalty is more. So we have the ability to really stay concealed when we want to. Key, I thought we were going to get that shot off a little bit before we got out, but sadly we end up continuing being spotted here. But we're kind of like, okay, what do we want to do? Because that key is starting to kind of just go off to the edge of the map. Right now, that Baltimore is dug in like a tick, and I think he is the bigger threat. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the smoke. We have the 16 seconds. We have the time where we can just go ahead and swing ourselves broadside. One thing to mention that we're doing right here that is helping us is we do have the regular fighter plane consumable equipped. This is really nice because as we sit in the smoke, we can use the fighter plane to be able to spot some enemies while we usually wouldn't be able to. You could equip the spotter plane for that little boost in accuracy, but it's definitely having the fighter plane up is nice. As we come around this corner, this Baltimore realizes he's kind of getting pinned in. He does kind of pull out and take a massive hit by one of our battleships, which is unfortunate because I was really hoping to do some damage to him because, well, he doesn't have torpedoes. He would be a fun target to come up close. Kleber pops up here, and we're just trying to spin our turrets because unfortunately we are still a battleship. One that does have fairly quick turret traverse for a battleship, but sadly we are not able to. But what we need to do is kind of get out of there relatively quickly because I don't want to be around if those Kleber torps decide to come our way, though I think we're kind of at the edge of their firing arc. Key sailing broadside to us, we get spotted. We're going to go ahead and let the shots fly. Of course, Key and Amagi kind of have that turtleback armor. Turtleback armor, not the strongest at range. It can end up getting you kind of hit. He does do a couple of good hits to us. We get a couple of good pens on him. He then gets slapped, which for what I'm sure is a Citadel from one of our fellow battleships, and we're going to continue just trying to edge him out, get a couple of more hits in here before we lose the shots behind the island. We take a couple of torpedoes from what I assume... Oh, the aircraft carriers. We take a couple of Saipan torpedoes. I was going to say, those torpedoes did not hit very hard. It must have been the aircraft carrier. Get the couple of hits over on the Key. And we're kind of just slowly making our way around this corner. Just kind of starting the sweep. We can see the enemy team has sort of won the seaside of the map. And our team did a very good job holding them off. But we will kind of... Luckily, the way that our team has spread, we're very evenly spread across that vertical axis. So we are going to be able to create crossfires on the enemy team, where the enemy team seems to be a little bit more concentrated. So this could go not as well for him. Saipan does get 2 very good hits, and we don't have a repair party, or we don't have a damage control party to stop the burn. We're looking at the Suzuya because he's looking like a juicy target. One that we started hitting at the beginning of the match, but he ends up going down, and now it's just the legendary Montana. So what's the plan here? Well, we have enough ships. We can charge. Also, we have the smoke. So we'll go ahead, use that damage control party, use the repair party, get as many hit points as we can, slow on down because we know Suzuya does have long-range torpedoes, and he could have easily fired them at us. We slow down just enough to let them come past, and now that they're past, back to full throttle, and it's time to start harassing this Montana. We're going to kind of let him see us, see if we can get him to kind of turn towards us, turn his attention towards us. Of course, we do have a battleship backing us up as well, And then as we do that, we're going to go ahead and lay the smoke screen. This should provide some concealment for our friendly battleship if he hasn't fired in the last 20 seconds, and give us time to get our guns turned and to try to get a better angle. Because right now, we are sailing at not the best angle, and one that that Montana could easily pen us if he fired at us, if he knew where we were. We're using that smoke to get the better angle, to get our turrets turned, to give us the time that we need. When he turns enough for us to go ahead, we're going to go ahead and let the shots fly. And, well, we get some big hits. And that's why that smoke is just absolutely beautiful. But yeah, sadly, I don't think we end up finishing off the Montana. He's just going to take too much damage too quickly. And, well, he goes down, and then it is only the carrier. And if I recall, carrier ends up just leaving the game, which I kind of find weird to quit early in matches. But, you know, you play them to the end. I guess he just didn't want the feel bads of sinking. I'm not sure. But I think he has planes up right now. But as we start to spot him, he just decides, the game's lost. I'll go ahead and back to port, so I don't have to experience the humiliation of being sunk. So, guys, that's the Roma. I, overall, am enjoying this little buff to the Roma. It does make me want to take her out a little bit more. Like I said, not going to become my primary Tier 7 battleship, but one that I will consider more often than I previously did. Guys, if you liked the video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.